Though the historic uncrewed mission back to the moon was a success, NASA leaders did encounter some unexpected damage and anomalies during that Artemis I mission. Way 31's Alex Torres-Perez goes over those issues and the changes they're making for future missions. Alex.
Well, NASA is still going through terabytes of data collected during the 25-and-a-half-day Artemis I mission. But mission managers say that, they were able to accomplish all of their objectives and actually push the spacecraft beyond its limit. But not everything really went according to plan.
And liftoff of Artemis I.
Whenever you fly something new for the first time, you're going to learn something.
And boy, did they learn something. It's now been 4 months since the SLS rocket, which was designed and built right here in North Alabama, successfully launched from the Kennedy Space Center.
It's done an outstanding job and met all our expectations, and in fact, it exceeded most of them.
But crews at KSC didn't realize just how powerful the world's most powerful rocket would actually be.
I feel bad that we damaged the launch pad, but it's hard to feel too bad when you have such a successful flight. It was not unexpected that launch pad would receive some damage. Every shuttle flight they saw damage to the launch pad in some form or fashion. And so knowing that this vehicle was nearly twice as powerful as the shuttle, then yeah, it was expected to see it.
Renovations are now underway at Launch Pad 39B after the rocket caused some heat damage and blasted off the elevator doors.
First one's already been repaired, and we were considering additional hardening for the second one for the next flight.
But that wasn't the only issue NASA officials encountered. One of the biggest objectives of the mission was the safe return of the Orion spacecraft to Earth. And while it did do that,
from 24,500 miles per hour to a landing about 16 miles per hour when it touched down. And we were able to land within 2.4 miles of our target. Our requirement was 6.2 miles, so really great performance as we were able to return back from the moon.
Parts of Orion's heat shield unexpectedly fell off during re-entry.
There were more variations across the heat shield than we expected. Some of the expected char material that we would expect coming back home ablated away differently than what our computer models and what our ground testing predicted. So we had more liberation of the charred material during re-entry before we landed than we had expected.
An in-depth review of the material and sensor data is now underway to try to understand what they can do differently in future crewed missions.
Vigilance is very important for us as we fly crew going forward. And so you'll hear about the amount of effort we're going to put into to make sure that we have the best heat shield possible to fly humans going forward.
Now, astronauts will be on board this next Artemis mission, which is set to lift off sometime in November of 2024. But like I mentioned, NASA is still reviewing all of that data, and they're trying to use all of the lessons learned on Artemis I on those future missions. Reporting live in Huntsville, Alex Torres-Perez, Way 31 News.
And we'll learn more about those tweaks that they're making on future Artemis missions tonight on Way 31 News at 5.